Will the circle be unbroken by and by and by and by? Sorry, I had that song stuck in my head and I had to get it out. Anyways, welcome to Alyssa Jean's Reviews, and welcome to my reviews for Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 2. It is here, long anticipated, very excited to be here to talk about the second season of Strange New Worlds, starting with the first episode, the Broken Circle, which is why that song was stuck in my head. Will the circle be unbroken? Anyways, okay, so this one is going to be much like my Picard season 3 reviews, where just kind of spewing out my thoughts because I have to rush off to work soon. However, since I work in the education system, this is actually the last day of school today, so moving forward, I might be able to take more time to get to plan out my thoughts, and maybe my video will be released a little bit later. But this one, just gonna kind of throw it all out there, and I'll just start by saying I thought this was a very solid intro to the season, a very fun episode in a lot of ways. Getting us back into Strange New Worlds. And I don't mind it. In fact, I would almost say that I really appreciate the fact that Pike is barely in this episode, and we get a chance for all the other characters to shine, especially Ethan Peck's version of Spock, getting to sit in the chair for the first time. And Mbenga and Nurse Chapel, I'll get to them, but interesting backstory developed for them. Leon coming back in, Uhura getting a lot of chance to shine, and then we get an introduction to a new character as well. So, all in all, very strong beginning, and I don't mind that Pike was absent. Where did Pike go? Into the next episode. So, the next episode we know is, well, you know, if you listen to any of the or read about any of the people who's got the first 6 episodes, but you can make this assumption even if you haven't, is the Una court-martial trial episode. So next week we can, get that out of the way. So, but this week we're focusing on Spock and Uhura and Ortegas. I forgot to mention her. Which I really quite enjoyed. Now let me start spewing out some of the things that I noticed, some of the details of this episode. So we start off with Spock and Uhura getting the distress call from Leon. So we're going to get Leon right back into the fold immediately. It's kind of making me feel like Lower Decks, where they end the season a certain way and then it is resolved immediately. Although we're going to have to wait to episode 2 for the Una resolution. The Leon leaving thing is being resolved immediately. I assume that she's coming back to the ship. At the end of the episode, that little girl's like, "What are you going to do now?" And she gives this look. And I'm like, she's going back to the Enterprise. She's saying, "I'm going back onto the show." So hopefully there will be some meaning that comes out of it. It looks like we're setting up for this Gorn storyline this season. So maybe Leon will have had some experiences that help with that. So who knows? We will have to see. Anyways, so they're going off to steal the Enterprise and get her. Now we're getting this, classic trope that I'm not always a fan of, and I knew this was going to happen from the beginning, that the ship disobey, or the crew disobeys orders and steals a ship and does some bad things, and then at the end of the episode, slappy on the wrist, like nothing happens. But I knew that was what the outcome was going to be from the beginning. I knew there was no way in hell they were going to get in trouble for this. They do try to address it at the end with that other admiral going, "Well, you were pretty light on them," and he was like, "Well, he just saved us from being attacked on two fronts. Dun dun dun, the Gorn. So, okay, fine, whatever. I mean, I knew this trope was coming. It's not my favorite, but whatever. Um, Start off by Spock being in the chair and being prompted to do his thing, which Modern Trek really likes to have fun with this. We've seen Captain Freeman trying to decide what her phrase is going to be. Um, Michael Burnham had to come up with "Let's fly," and of course, Picard season 3 ends with a cliffhanger. We don't know what Seven of Nine's phrase is. Oh my goodness. Um, I think people have mixed feelings on this. I have fun with this kind of thing. I kind of enjoy that Modern Trek likes to play around with this. I enjoy it. It was fun. My only regret is that we saw this in the trailer. I mean, it made a good scene for the trailer, but it made it less, I don't know, took away from it seeing it in the episode. And that was, of course, when Spock goes, "Make the ship go now." That's good. It's in the trailer. I already saw it, but still. Pretty fun scene. A lot of fun interactions between the characters. We had a new navigator character that maybe she was there last season. I don't know. The young Asian woman who helped them steal the Enterprise. But the most important, of course, new character is Carol Kane's character, whose name I'm forgetting. So they're saying she's a Lampian or something like that, that she had been an alien species that had infiltrated Earth, was living among humans with undetected for hundreds of years, and so she apparently is really, really old. That's interesting. I'm a little thrown off by the fact that Uhura was like, "Oh, that accent, I recognize it. She's a Lampian," or whatever it's called. And they were a species that lived among humans for a couple hundred years undetected, and yet they have a very distinctive accent. So that's okay, whatever. I've always loved Carol Kane ever since I watched Taxi when I was young, and she made regular appearances in Taxi. So she goes way back. So yeah, it's fun to see this character, get an introduction to her, and we'll see how that goes. All right, so they get to the planet. They find Leon, and it turns out that she is trying to infiltrate this rogue group of Federation and Klingon officers who are trying to restart the war. Reminds me a bit of Star Trek 6. It seems like Federation slimeballs and Klingon slimeballs are always conspiring to just restart the war for whatever reason. But that is the thing that's happening. And then here's where the episode, to me, took an interesting turn as we get into this interesting backstory of M'Benga and Chapel, that they were together, apparently, previously, in the Klingon War, and they wouldn't have been on the Enterprise because, as we saw in the previously on, they reminded us from Discovery that the Enterprise was off on their 5-year mission and wasn't in the Klingon War. So M'Benga and Chapel were, however, and M'Benga reminds me a little bit of Chief O'Brien with the Cardassians. "It's not you I hate, Klingon. It's what I became because of you." So it kind of reminds me of that. What is the deal with this super soldier serum that they took? That can't be legal in the Federation. I assume we're gonna get back around to this. What was that all about, eh? So I don't know. So I'm just gonna put a pin on that and assume that that doesn't go unexplained through the whole season. So as far as their history, they apparently have the feels. We get a little bit. M'Benga has, healed Klingons before. I wonder, was he held captive? What was? And he was on a planet that was destroyed. Let's get more of this. I'm intrigued. I'm very intrigued. And I love that we get a lot of we get that team up. I was going to say a lot of interactions, but we get a team up really of Chapel and Mbenga, since they do work together. We've seen them interact within the medical bay, but to have them out of that context and seeing the bond that they have together and working together, I thought was really cool. I really did enjoy those interactions, and I'm looking forward to getting more of this backstory. That backstory is interesting. Now, is it going to step on canon with Nurse Chapel? Yes, but I've long given up on worrying about that. So I'm just sitting back and accepting the ride, just going along for the ride that Nurse Chapel is getting all this backstory that the original Magil Barrett version in the original series clearly did not have. So that all was really good, and I kind of just enjoyed this whole episode. Getting Ahura to step up. She, of course, is an ensign now, and she's really upped her game to the next level. We see her moving toward the character that we know. Spock dealing with his emotions, getting the debut of the lyre, getting kind of an explanation for why Spock played the lyre, which was cool. I kind of enjoy that. I love how they're slipping in kind of this prequel stuff that isn't overt. I also noticed that at the end when the Klingon says to Spock, "Vulcans never lie," interesting to me because I just rewatched the original series episode, Errand of Mercy, and Kor says something similar to Spock, like Vulcans never lie. So they're like digging deep into little teeny details that there's this whole Klingon perception that Vulcans never lie that they're bringing into this show. So this is pretty cool. The Spock drinking blood wine scene we saw in the trailer as well, but that was also fun. And let us give a big cheer, a big shout out, let us rejoice that they're back to just the regular Klingons and just like that whole weird thing where from Discovery where they looked completely different. Yeah, let's just forget about that. And we don't need an in-universe explanation this time. We don't need, oh, well, they have brown skin again because we injected skin pigmentation. No. Just pretend that the Klingons have always looked like this. Forget about what they look like in Discovery. That's what they should do. So, and it appears that they are doing that. So I'm glad for that. Let me finish up as I mentioned earlier with it being strongly implied that Elan is returning to the ship, and then we have that foreshadowing of the Gorn attack. We will have to see what happens with that. But the immediate thing that we're going to deal with next week will be resolving the Una storyline. It's spoiler alert, we have seen her on the Enterprise in the trailers. So, but we'll just see how that works itself out next week. All right, let me go ahead and wrap up my review by giving my rating out of 10. So 1 would be the lowest score that I could give, 10 would be the highest. With this premiere of Season 2, The Broken Circle, out of 10, I'm going to give an 8. Very solid episode. It's not a 9 type of thing. It's not like blow me away. It's not a 10, but a very fun, very good character episode. Very interesting character episode. So a very good start to the season. So a very solid 8 out of 10 from me. Okay, everyone. Looking forward to seeing you back here next week to do my review for episode 2. Also, a slight change in the calendar. If you are a subscriber and have seen my calendar, I will be releasing my Star Trek Lower Decks Season 2 rewatch review, my kind of revisiting of Season 2 of Lower Decks. That'll be next Friday, so the day after I do my Episode 2 review. And if you are interested in my transition videos, I'm doing a What Pride Means to Me, pretty short video, not a super long video, that will drop tomorrow, Friday the 16th. Okay, everybody, please subscribe if you have not already, and I shall see you soon. Goodbye.